Hello everybody. Today we are going to be making this Christmas tree. We're going to make it in a green, thanks to my Aunt Candy who brought me a kit that had all three colors with the instructions and three of the stars. If you don't have a star, you can definitely use just a wooden circle or maybe even a metal circle, something along those lines. But this one came with stars, so we're going to do it with a star. To get started, you're going to need 4 110 centimeter cords, 2 90 centimeter cords, 2 80 centimeter cords, 2 70 centimeter cords, and one string at least 12 inches long or longer for your gathering knot at the end. So to get started, you're going to take 2 of your 110 cords, fold them in half, finding the center, and we're going to do a lark's head knot by taking that center through the star and down, and then we're going to pull the 2 long cords through that loop. Oops, got my other one tangled in there. And then just give it a little tug. You want to make it pretty snug up in there. And that's one. Take your second cord, find your 2 ends, pull it till you find the center. Take your center through the star and then down. Grab your 2 cords. And you're going to pull them through and give it a little tug. You want to be gentle when you're doing the tugs because this wood is very thin. You don't want to break your star. Once you have these 2 lark's head knots completed, we're ready to begin with a square knot. At this point, you're going to want to secure your work some way. Some people would just tie it down. Some people would tape it down. I happen to use a little vice grip here. I'm just going to tighten that to the table. There we go. And that'll let it move a little bit, but not really where it's going to disturb my work. Making a square knot out of these 4 cords that we have currently on our star. So to make a square knot, you're going to take your cord from the left over, take the cord from the right and bring it behind. I've shown this before, but for some people this could be the first time seeing a square knot, so we're just going to take our time in the beginning and then we'll speed it up as we go through the process. So this is just one side of your square knot. To finish it, you do the same thing but backwards. So we're going to take the right, take left down, behind, and up through. And give it a little tug and secure it into place. That is how you make a square knot. And the remainder of this tree is, or at least the body of the tree, is made with nothing but square knots. So our next step is to grab one of those 110 centimeter cords. You're going to find your center. And then you're going to bring it behind the cord on your left And you're going to actually make a square knot on this cord. So we're going to make a square knot. And this is going to attach this cord onto the other cord. So we need to finish that square knot. Okay. Now we can push the square knot up and get it into place. Now we just added 2 more cords on by adding 1 square knot. We're going to do the same thing on the other side with that last cord that you have. That's 110. Find the center, put it behind, and then make your square knot. Once your square knot's complete, you just slide it up into place. And we now have 4 more cords added to our tree. So it says that the next step is to make a square knot with the middle 4 cords. So that means we're going to take these 2 out of the equation. And we're just going to make a square knot with these 4. What that should do is add to that to make it look like a row. There we go. Just like that. Okay. Next step, it says using the 4 cotton cords on each side to make 2 square knots. Okay, so that means we're going to take and separate these in half. Take these 4 and we're going to make a square knot. I'm going to be adding cord on. And we are. So it's saying that we want to add 1 of the 90 centimeter. So find the center, going over 2, and going over 2. So we want to add to that. We're going to take 1 of the 90 centimeter cords, find the center, and we're going to make a square knot over these cords. There we go. And then we're just going to slide it up in place. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Taking 1 of the 90 centimeter cords. Okay, so we are going to, using the middle 4 cotton cords, make a square knot. Okay, middle 4, make a square knot. Okay. Now it's saying to take these 2 out of the equation and make 2 square knots with what's right here. Next step is to make 3 square knots. So that should be this one, whoops, this one, and this one. So let's do 3 square knots. We'll start with the center one. So it says the next step is to add 1 square knot with 2 strands on the left with one of the 80 centimeters. So we're going to take 2 on the left, take the 80 centimeter cord in half, and we're going to add it on by using a square knot. It's saying to make 2 square knots in the center. Okay, so we should have 8 cords then. So that would be these 4 and these 4. Nope, it's saying use 3 square knots, leaving 2 out. So take these 2 and leave them out. And then there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. There's the 3 square knots we're making now. Next step is to make 4 square knots using all cords. So that would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to make 4 square knots now. Our next step is going to be adding 2 of the 70 centimeters. So we want to go to our left 2, get our 70 centimeter cord, bring it behind, and do a square knot. Three square knots in the center. So we are taking these and these out of the equation, and we're going to be making 3 in here. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Let's start with the middle this time. Next step is to take and make 4 square knots by taking 2 out of the equation, and we're going to make our square knots in here. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Using all the cords. So we're going to start over here on the left again. And this time we're using all the cords, which again is going to leave that little gap where I think a bead belongs, but we're just making off the instructions right now. So let's find where center is. 1, 2, 3. Center of that square knot is here. So we're going to put these aside for now, and we're going to work with these. Our outside cord is going to become our main cord, our lead cord, some people call it a lead cord. The instructions here, what is it calling it? It just says it's calling it an axis. So this is your axis cord. I want to call it a lead cord. And then all the rest of these are filler cords down here. We're going to use these cords. We're going to go over the lead cord, behind, and through. And give it a little pull. And then we're going to do it one more time to secure that in place. So over the lead cord, behind it, up and through, and that'll secure it into place. And you want to keep your lead cord going sideways so that it makes these cords stay in a line. So we're going to move on to our second cord, filler cord here, lead cord here, filler cord, over, around, behind, and through, over, around, behind, and through. We're just going to keep doing that until we get to the center. Okay, now we're going to start on this side over here. We're going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to work our way this way. So take your main cord, lead cord, axis cord, this one, bring it over and try to keep it lined up while you're working so that it comes and joins here in the middle. Get your first cord, go over, around, behind, and through. That's all we're doing. Second time, over, behind, through, and pull. Keep your lead cord up here where you want it. Move on to your next one, and then just fill it all in. Okay, so now that we've met back in the middle, we have our two lead cords, the one from the left, the one from the right. We want to join them together. So you just take one over the other and let one become a filler cord. Just do a double half hitch knot like you were doing. And it will join these two together. There we go. So now, the instructions are saying we're supposed to take these two as well as one from each side. So that would be this one and this one. And we're supposed to make a gathering knot. So to make a gathering knot, am I still in frame? I think so. Okay. We're going to take these four and just hold on to them. Take that 12 inch piece or longer that you have. You're going to let the top sit up. Make a little loop with it. Hold on to that loop. Then you're just going to take the long piece of cord and you're going to start wrapping it around, and you want it to go in a downwards motion. So you want to start it as high up by that tree as possible. This is a little hard to do and stay in frame at the same time, but we're going to try. You just push it on up in there. Just make sure this piece stays out where you can get to it. And then give it another wrap. I think the trunk should have maybe, say 6. It doesn't tell you here how many wraps to make on the instruction sheet. So I'm just going based on the size of the tree. I'm thinking maybe a tree trunk that's about 6. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So that little loop that we had, you're going to take the long cord that you have up through that loop. And then your little piece that you have at the top, hold on to it. And as you pull, you see how your loop is getting smaller and smaller? It's gathering it up and it's going to put it into the trunk. Once it's hidden within the trunk, you're good to let go. You're going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to cut this top one as close as you possibly can. And then it's going to be hidden from your trunk. There we go. Then we need to decide on how long do we want each of our tails to be. And in the practice one that I did, in this one, I just used my trunk as the guide. So I just kind of went with the trunk. So I think I'm just going to continue to do the same thing. So to do that, I need to stand up so I can get a better viewpoint. We're just going to kind of bring it here. Gather up our cords. And give it a cut. Do the same thing on the other side. Grab your cords. And give it a cut. Then we're going to decide on how long do we want the tail of our trunk to be. And I'm thinking just however long the tail is, give it about that long. And give that a cut. You could call this finished if you want, or you can grab a comb like I have. This is used in quilling, but you could use any kind of comb. And this is just a craft table, so it's not going to scratch anything or hurt anything, but you're just going to kind of brush it out a little bit. And that'll give you a little bit of a furry part for your tree, like that. I think I like that better than this. It looks a little more finished. So we're just going to go ahead and unbraid the cord here. And brush it out at the same time. And that side's done. And we could just call this finished, but I kind of like the idea of having some fringe down here as well. So we're just going to bring that up some, maybe halfway, a little bit in the front. There we go. We're going to call that done. So then I just release it from my grip my vise that I have here. And you have a tree. Pretty nice. It's a really nice kit. Thank you, Aunt Candy, for the gift.